fabulous Jaclyn Strominger. How are you?
I'm doing great. The amazing Carol.
Welcome, welcome, audience. We're in for a treat. Hopefully, you have met Jaclyn before, and hopefully, we will just continue these conversations with her as a very dynamic, successful, high performance coach. Let me tell you something. I love one of her lines. She's like, she is working with people so they can get shiz done. Let's just,
Just done.
that's right. So,
The
and
unstoppable.
yes, I mean, really, it's so sit up, get excited, open your heart and your mind to receive some of the beautiful gifts that she's going to share with us tonight on or today
Mhm.
or this morning, depending on where you are in the world. She is going to share with us tips and tricks and ideas and tools uh, that we can round out this year, prepare for, and have success throughout next year. So, again, welcome. So thrilled you're here and so pleased that you are here, Jaclyn.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about this. This this time of year is so it's a huge time for reflection. There's two times that I always think about reflecting. So, number one, I actually am a huge like let's take a look at the world and where we've been in September because that's a huge time. But now this time of year, I mean, we're talking towards the end of the year. It is the perfect time to look back. And I always like to say MMA, like measure, monitor, adjust. MMA,
Mm,
like where are we? What did we get done? And I want to say, as you're listening to this, whatever you did not get done, that's okay. It's not a failure. Like, I don't
mm,
want people to think that. Like, it's this is the time to just to again, MMA. We need to measure, monitor, and adjust. And the other part is then plan. Plan for what we are going to do in the next year. And I think, we talked a little bit about this. Carol and I had the great conversation yesterday, and we talked about quitting. Like that is as you go into the next year, a lot of times people will set goals. They don't always they think about where they want to, it's like I'm going to use losing weight, right? People will say I want to lose weight. Well, how much how much do you want to lose?
right.
Right? We got to put a number on it. How much do you want to lose? How much do you want to lose every month? Why do you want to lose the weight? Right? What is it going to be like if you lose the weight? How will you feel? How will you feel? And a lot of times, what ends up happening is people say, I want to lose weight. I'm going to start a diet. And they really don't have a true plan. They're just going to say, oh, I'm going to cut out X. Like maybe I'm going to, not to throw my mother under the bus, but my mother will say, I'm going to cut out all bread.
Sure.
Okay. Right. I'm
I'm
going to cut out bread. Right. I'm going to cut out bread. Can't eat bread. No bread. Well, is that really realistic? Maybe you could cut out all bread, but you might not realize that there's bread products in other things or things, you know, will you get upset if you eat the one crouton in a Caesar salad? Like, so just putting a line in the sand is not always, we have to put a plan with it. Okay, I want to lose weight. And that each week I want to plan on cutting back. I want to reduce. Well, what do you want to reduce? And so you put those into place. You do something that a lot of us don't. You put it down on paper, write
uh,
it out, plan it. And what ends up happening, and Carol and I talked a little bit about this yesterday, is that there is a day, in January and in February, there's it's quitting day. And it's the
mm,
day that most people typically quit. It's around the 16th and the 22nd of both of those months. And why is that? Because you have not you set a goal but you put nothing behind it. There's no
Mhm.
substance, there's nothing written on paper, and we always have to know, no matter what plan we put in place, we have to account for highs and lows. Two
Mm.
steps forward, maybe one step back, two steps
Mhm.
forward, three steps back, four steps forward, right? So nothing that we do in life is an exact line or linear direction. The stock market, right? It's going to go up and down, up and down, and up and down, and it's going to it'll go up. But yeah, you hear, oh my God, the stock market dropped, 20 points yesterday, and then it went up 40 points, right? So, but over year, we hope, we're talking about our stocks, right? That it continues on a trajectory up.
Right.
But we have to always think about in our plans that we have to allow for ebb and flow, highs, lows, two steps forward, one step back. So,
That is I love that, and how much weight do you wanna lose? That's like the number one
right,
resolution goal that is usually set and not achieved often.
right.
I'm gonna back up to what you said about where we are in the year and MMA. I think that is brilliant, first of all, so everyone remember that, MMA, measure, manage, adjust,
Measure, monitor.
monitor, adjust, excuse me,
Yep. Yep.
and I feel like that needs to be done on a regular basis, and you can't what you do not measure is not going to grow or whatever it is you want, that which can be measured can be improved.
Correct. Right. And and what you just said is really important. So that's why like September is a huge time for me. It's like the third quarter, and now we're in that end fourth quarter of the year, and or wherever you are in your quarter, because everybody's got, depending upon your, where
Right.
you are in your calendar cycle and all that stuff. Um, so every 90 days, we want to look at where we are. So think about that, right? So 90 days, you got a quarter. The next 90 days, now you're at a half a year, 180 days. The next quarter, right? So when you're done, you got 360 days. Right? Obviously, granted, there are 365 days in the year. I understand that. We're missing 5 days, but give an extra day to each one. But this way, when you do that, we get to set realistic goals, and you'll hear people talk about SMART goals, right? we
Yes.
want we want to make something that you know is is achievable, that it's relevant, it's timely, and that we can achieve. I like to say aim smart. Aim smart. What's the aiming part? You might say, I want to bring on a whole bunch more clients. And I want to bring on 5 clients. Great. Fantastic. I might want to say I want to bring on 7. Whatever what's right for you is not going to be the same thing that's right for me. Whatever we're looking at, whatever that goal is, whatever that we're looking at, that is something that is achievable, it's achievable for us, and it's going to be different, and I have to own it. I have to aim at it first. I have to say, okay, great, Jaclyn. I, you know, you just said you want to, make a certain number of phone calls. You want to add that to your thing. I might say, Carol, how many do you want to make? You could say, okay, I can make 10 calls a day. Fantastic. But that might not be achievable for me. It might not be it might be an overwhelming number for me. I might be able to say 5.
Right. Right.
So we have to aim it, and then we have to then it's all the other, measure something, make it sure it is achievable, that it's realistic and relevant, and it's timely, so that it is something that we can track. We have to be able to track what we're doing.
Tracking. And tracking actually is quite motivating,
Hmm.
and you and I love to talk about this, but accountability and
Yep.
success.
Yeah.
So as you have shared with everyone so, beautifully, you set target, goal, whatever this is.
Mhm.
First of all, I think the most important thing that you asked all of us, why do you want to achieve that?
Yep. Why?
Because, and again, I'm gonna, one of my mentors, and he's such an interesting and wonderful fella, but he always says, you've got to create, because a goal, unless you're invested somehow,
Mhm.
that's why it's so easy to walk away from them.
Right.
So if you create a large enough and important enough barrier of exit with
Yes.
your why,
Yeah.
every time you don't want to measure it, you don't want to think about it, you go back to the why. Okay, why did I want to do that?
Yeah.
Did the doctor tell me I need to walk every day so I can live a long time to be with my grandchildren? Why? How am I going to feel? What's the cost if I don't achieve it?
Right.
I mean, I love that you brought that up because I think so many times it's a little too general, wouldn't you think? Don't you
I
think?
yeah. I think sometimes it is and when I talk about to people about, so it's this is the time of year, and again, so we want to look at measure, monitoring, and adjusting what we've done in the past. And then we want to really look and say, okay, what do I want to achieve? Why do I want to achieve it? And I don't want to say, oh, look at your 5 years. I
Right.
want you to make a big, bold vision and mission. It's got to be grandiose. And it's not just for the year, because everything that we do is a stepping stone to something else, right? So I can be the first one to tell you that I remember forgot I reached a goal in a business, and I got there and I was like, okay, yay. Now what? And I felt empty. So to stop feeling that empty feeling, we have to make our vision so big and then create the mission behind it and then start taking the goals. And so, what do you have to ask yourself? Well, what are things that I want to accomplish in my life? What do I want to accomplish in my life? What do I want people to think when I go 6 feet, 9 feet, whatever, in the crematorium, wherever you're going to go, right? How do I want to be remembered?
Mhm.
Right? And what gifts, what gifts are my gifts and my strengths? What's my cape? What are my superpowers? How can I bring my superpowers more to people? How can I bring those to people? And by doing my and bringing my superpowers to people, what type of legacy and impact am I going to bring? And in my business, what does my business do that encompasses all of those things so that I can feel fulfilled, or that I know that I am on my way to achieving what I want to achieve for my life legacy. And so we
Mm.
want to think about those things and think about what you're doing. Think about what you do daily. Think about what
Mm.
you do weekly. Think about what you're doing each month. Where is that taking you? What is your journey? And each time you reach something, we want to celebrate it. But we want to write all of this out so that when you look at your calendar, and I'm a big believer in looking at my calendar for the week, what's on your calendar are those things that you are doing leading you to that big, audacious vision.
Right.
And if it's not, then you have to sit and say, do I do it? Do I
Right.
delegate it? Do I ditch it? Or do I delay it? And it really helps you be laser. I hate saying this, but I hate the word laser focus because I feel like it's overused. But it
But
does,
it's good.
right? But it does help you to be focused on what you are doing so that 90 days, you can say, wow, I did that.
I did that.
180 days. Wow, I did that. Ooh, so, and maybe, so I'll use a number like I just got off a call, great podcast with somebody, and he had this huge goal for m- increasing their company revenue. I think he said he was at 100 million and he wants to go to 300 million. Okay.
And what is his business?
He has a cleaning business.
Oh, cool.
Right. It's really cool. Okay. So he's talking about this. And the one thing he said was, he said it allows, by having these key things that he wants to work on, and by crafting the vision and letting everybody know on his team what that vision is and why. What is that? What It's not just, oh, I want to hit 300 million. It's because think of all the people that we can employ. About all the people whose lives we can change. Think about what that is going to do for for the United States where our business is if we can level up, and think about the impact that we get to have by doing that. It's not just the number. It wasn't the money in his pocket. It was the impact he was going to have on the rest of the world and the people that he employed. And that is, to me, that's the beauty. Like, you think about, you set the goal, right? And you have this vision of having this massive impact. And okay, my vision is to impact more people. And this is what raising the bar is going to be and do. And if we do it by 3x, we're going to be able to impact so many more people. It's going to be more than a 3x impact.
Right.
And so I mean, I was so excited, as you can tell. I was so excited for him because it was the enthusiasm and the vision of what his company was going to be doing and the impact he was having on everybody. I was like, oh my God, let's do it. Let's do it. Right? So that's that same energy that you want to create when you look at your plan and
Yes.
your vision and having those action items that you want to do and having the goal that when you look at your plan every week, you're going to catch the bug again.
That's right. I'm telling you, I love that. And because we all measure success differently,
Yes.
if maybe you don't want to be making 300 million and affecting millions of lives, maybe the vision is to affect your family, your neighbor. I mean, I whatever that is, to your point, Jaclyn, it's revisiting the vision.
Mhm.
What does the vision look like? How do you feel? How do the people that this will affect, what are they doing? How do they feel? I love that so much. When you and I talked about this yesterday, there's nothing like working with people that are just all about the vision
Mhm.
and they're about other people. I mean, it's extremely wonderful to work with those types of people. And I think that's, anyway. So here we are, right?
Yep.
MMA,
Yep.
MMA, set up, big, fabulous vision. Literally get it on paper, put it around, correct? I mean,
Yes.
have a word from it and smile when you see it. And when you see it, take a little step, make a phone call, do one little thing.
Yep.
And what you're sharing is break that down into bite-sized pieces,
Yes.
small steps, and then celebrate where you are. You made 10 steps in 1 week. You made 4 steps. You are making progress. Celebrate the process, correct?
Celebrate the process. And so yes. And so a lot of times people will say, well, how do I break it down? Well, the one thing that I look at what you need to do. And this is where I will put this out to anybody who is listening. If you need help with that, shoot me up. I'm here for you. Have a
Absolutely.
complimentary call. Do that. Like, grab some time with me. book a call because I want to help you figure out what your steps are that you need to do. Because everybody's going to have a different step, different steps, but we do need to track it. We need to have some way for you to look at what you're doing and the action plans that you need to be taking and track it. So for me, like I I love to connect and network. So one of my big goals is how many people can I connect with? So I want to write down like who do I want to connect with? And I kind of have a number in my head that I look at every day and who can I connect with? And I have a ticker, right? Did I connect with people today? And because that fuels my cup. And fills my cup. I love to do that. And so I look at that and I look at how many people I was able to connect. And I will also be able to tell you that when I don't look at that and when I'm not connecting because it fuels my cup, my energy level goes down.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
right? So part of what we're looking at too in our action steps is what are the things that we are doing that fuels and fills our cup, that puts a smile on our face so that as we're doing those things, we're feeling good about it. And again, our vibe attracts our tribe so that the energy that we're putting out is going to come back and we're going to feel it and we're going to be able to, again, move the needle, right? And that's the tracking part though is sometimes it's the hardest thing. And I have a sheet that I just shared with people and this was once shared with me and I changed the name of it. Um it's the no sheet, but I literally call it the no sheet, right?
Right, no sheet.
No,
Got it.
no sheet. And so you have whatever you need to track, right? So if it's a lot of times we all have to make phone calls or we're in sales or what. So track it, check it off. And then when you get to 10, got to do the happy dance, but you also got to celebrate,
That's right.
right? So
Right.
what are you doing to celebrate? 10 steps, 10 action things that you did to move your business. Celebrate.
Celebrate. I think we forget to celebrate the small wins. The
Yes.
other thing, I believe that it creates momentum.
Yeah.
Make that first phone call if that's what it is. Make one.
Yep.
Okay, made one. Go ahead and make another one. And it creates this momentum. And then the celebration, which I'm so pleased that you're sharing and reminding everyone to celebrate, because the celebration, you're building integrity with yourself. All we love to talk about it constantly. I mean, Jaclyn and I are all about it. Accountability and
Mhm.
success.
Yep.
Success, let's just say one of the greatest things about success is come to integrity with yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
It's got to be with yourself first. Why in the world would anybody else join in to the mission, to the vision, to the goal if you haven't bought into it enough to take the time to track and celebrate?
Yeah.
I'll go back to Randy again. He said he calls it having a magnifying mind. When he doesn't track it
Mhm.
and he thinks, I think on Tuesday I'd probably talk to two or three or four people. And he said all he has to do is look in his phone. And he was like, oh, I talked to one person that day and everybody else I talked to, they were friends. I mean,
Right. Right. Right.
let's get honest.
Right. And I think and that's actually one of the biggest things too is a lot of times, you know, at this time of year, again, not to just kind of belabor this point, but really, look at that deep. MMA is about going in and being reflective of what you're actually doing. And to be honest, we can all say, oh, I worked today. I worked in my business today. Well, what did you do in your business? So if you need an activity tracker for your daily activities, shoot me up. Again, I got one of those for you. But it's literally track what you did because you might realize, oh, you know what? I moved one book to this pile. I moved the paper over here. Oh, you know what? I was on a call, so I, decided I was gonna, move some other things. I'm gonna dilly dally with some,
Ah,
right?
the avoidance behavior, the procrastination tricks. Call me if you need a list of those. I've got 'em.
Right? So uh, the activity is, and it's, and here's a big thing, I think, is that we forget that we need to just create, it's not a tally sheet to think about what you didn't do. It's more about being aware. When we create awareness for
Yes,
our actions and our activities, then you get to really track what you're doing and see where you're spending your time. Are you, okay, no offense, everybody, are you spending more time on here on social media, flipping through? Or are you going to use that time to actually be working to better yourself, to read something, to grow, to learn? And don't, trust me, there's a time and a place for all of it. The question is how much time, right?
right. That's currency we do not get back.
Right. Right.
We don't get to earn extra time.
No.
This is about, and I have less runway ahead of me. We've talked about this than I
Yeah.
do behind me. And that is a motivator for me.
Mhm.
It is. You and I talked about it,
Yeah.
travel, learning, creating businesses, meet, all the things. Well, so where are we spending our time?
Right. Yeah. So, and that to me is, when we really look at the year, we are all given the same number of hours, the same minutes, the same number of seconds. The only thing that separates, I'm sure people have heard this before, but sometimes you need to hear it again and again. The only thing that separates you and me from um, Elon Musk, um,
Yeah.
or the late Steve Jobs, or um, uh,
Brene Brown.
right, Brene Brown, or I who you name, Simon Sinek, name your person, right? You know,
Right.
whomever your I like,
Mel
yeah,
Robbins,
right,
Tony Robbins. I
right,
mean, name them.
name 'em, right. The only thing, we all are given the same number of minutes, hours, days in the year. The question is, how are you spending your time? How are
Exactly.
you spending that time? And it's up to you to make that choice. And again, I'll go back to what I was saying in the beginning. We have to make sure that we are okay with with the trajectory. There are going to be highs and lows. That's why we like to look at things in, I will say, the 90-day sprints, where we get to MMA all year long, because you might realize, oh my God, I've spent more time watching television than I should have. Okay, great. Congratulations for realizing that. Do you want to keep doing that, or do you
Right.
want to change it? Your choice.
Right. Choice, reflection in a manner that supports you, whether you are looking at many, many successes or if you're looking at many, many lessons learned.
Right.
They're all gifts,
Right. There are. Right.
and we can make the same or different choices.
Yeah.
To your point, awareness, from awareness to accountability. From
Right.
accountability, why are you saying you want to lose the weight? You want to make the money, you want to do the traveling, you want whatever it is. Why do you want to do those things? Because if you really look at why, y- you might be, oh, well, not really. I just thought I wanted to do that, but you mean I'm going to have to work on it? You might be dropping 5 goals down to 3 in a heartbeat.
Right.
I
Right.
love that. And her tools, let me share with you, audience. Jaclyn is all about getting it done. She's all about it. And she does it in a very loving and direct way, the way you want to be told how to do it. I'm just telling you, if you really are looking for, and I think that everyone is here because they're ready for transformation. They're ready for a different outcome, more success,
Mhm.
a continual to fall in love with the process of creating success. 1, 2, 3, 5 years. What are these big pictures?
Yeah.
And I so appreciate just your beautiful, direct manner. It's like, if you really want to do this, become aware of where you're spending your time. And
Yeah.
if you don't know how to track, if you need a tracker, she's so generous about offering up. She's offered up a call, she's
Yeah.
offered up trackers, and she means it. The more we get to know one another, it's very cool. So
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, thank you. Any last words for our wonderful audience?
You know, get ready to leap. It's really, get ready to leap. And if there is anything that you want, again, head to my website, go to leaptoyoursuccess.com, grab a complimentary call, and I want to help you leap into this next year and have the greatest success. Anytime, doesn't have to be any time in the year.
Thank you. And thank you, audience. Oh my goodness. Okay. You wanted variety? We have variety. Tips, tricks, offers, gifts, you name it, it's here for you. Thank you for being here. And I look forward to our next conversation, precious Jaclyn.
Thank you, Carol.